my God, who's hungover? Who's still tired?
What?
I'm still drunk.
Did you lower?
Who's pulled the all-nighter? Anybody pulled the all-nighter?
Did you lower your voice, please?
Oh, sorry, that did come a little loud. What is up, everybody? Welcome into the DNVR Nuggets Podcast.
Let's go.
Come on, there you go. Give us the air horns. We got a special edition of the show, not because I have D-Line and Harrison on the show. That's every single day. We have a special guest in the house. None other than Australia's finest, Jack White.
I appreciate you having me on.
Man, excited to have you on. Man, do you know this? So, U.S., #1 country consuming our content, our podcast. Mm-hmm. Serbia, #2, unsurprising.
Yeah.
#3, Australia.
Oh,
really?
let's go.
We have a huge Australian following. I shouldn't say huge, but we have a notable Australian
I love
following.
to hear that.
Why is that? Do you have any idea?
Aussies love hoops, man. Aussies love footy, rugby, and hoops.
Footy, soccer. We're going to walk.
No. Australian rules football.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What I used to play growing up. Footy.
Do some research before your guest comes on the
Go
show.
Tigers.
You're right. All right. Who was it? Who was the team?
Richmond Tigers, my team.
That's your squad.
Yeah,
All right, there you go.
They're not doing too good this year to start off, but plenty of time.
You stand them nonetheless, though.
Yeah, of course.
We're gonna get into a bunch of stuff, man. I'm excited to talk to you. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. You seem like a funny guy. Not to put pressure on you.
Jeez.
Yeah, tell us some jokes.
There's certainly some pressure now, but I'll try and carry my weight.
And obviously enjoyed watching you in summer league. Enjoyed watching you even in the limited minutes we saw you with the Nuggets this year. And I want to get into all of that, but the topic of the day, we have to start with last night.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna get into some more Jack White specific stuff. But I want to start with the series wrapping up. I don't know if you know this, but for us, you guys have battle that goes on the court, other teams.
Oh, my God, yes.
We have a warfare that goes on.
I would say this a more intense battle.
Significantly more intense that goes on with fan bases. This is what happens. Fans, the Suns swept the Nuggets 4 years ago. They didn't stop talking about it. It was 2 years. So for us, this was like personal,
Oh, yeah.
It's like we're really counting on you guys to come through, and of course you did. Do you feel any of that? Do you see any of it, though?
I mean, before the series started, there was definitely a bit of that feel about, obviously getting swept a couple years back, and I guess everything that happened around that, like with the fan and everyone knows about that.
Douchebag.
So there was definitely a bit of a vibe, and we 0-1, and we have everyone healthy, and big time chance to make a statement. Obviously moving forward, and so it was definitely a bit of that vibe, and I think obviously it worked out well for us. We knew that we had obviously a big chance. Speaking of last night, obviously to make a statement and beat them on their home floor, and
right,
where we hadn't done that in this series yet, and obviously what a way to do it, right? So it feels good to be able to take them down, and my boy Jock my ex-teammate.
He's good, man.
Yeah, you were
he is
teammates
good.
with him, right?
Yeah.
In Australia?
2 years ago, we were teammates in Melbourne, won a championship together, have the same agent, we're very close. So it was for me individually, it was good to see him, do well and step up, but, also nice to take him down and have the bragging rights, So
was there anything you saw or felt in the lead up to that game last night that made you think, all right, we're definitely winning this one?
I feel like we were consistent in our approach and our mindset throughout the whole series. Obviously, going up 2-0, has you feeling good at home, and it was a little bit, I guess, disappointing that we didn't get one in either 3 or 4.
Right.
We felt like we were obviously playing really good basketball at home, and then going onto the road, having that momentum, it was something that we really wanted to capitalize on. And obviously, we felt like the Minnesota series should have been 4, and sort of had that one. It's just mentally exhausting a bit when you expect to win or at least perform well, and it doesn't happen for you. And especially for us when we lost 4, and we knew we were going to have to go back to Phoenix. I was a bit worried about that and how that would affect us, because obviously you get off to a flying start. You're hoping to finish it pretty well, but I think last night, it was just look, we're going to get this done. We're going to go home, but we're going to get this done tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't like Joker standing up in the locker room and being like, "We're fucking."
Everyone gather around here.
That's how we envisioned it. At least.
Personally, I wish I could have seen that as well. It would have been good, but no, we didn't need any of that.
What about you and Jock? How do you guys kind of give each other space? Hey, we're stop talking. What was that like? Are you guys going back and forth at all?
Not really. We would catch up after the games or whatever briefly, and I know. He had some family out in Phoenix. Our agent came out to Phoenix, so we all kind of linked up there and hung out a little bit. But for the most part, just kind of especially for me because I'm not playing and his role sort of progressed through the series. I kind of want to leave that and you know on him to if he wanted to set anything up or catch up. You know, obviously play the whole year, playoffs. You know, give guys their rest, and you know I kind of let him take control of that. But it was good. You know, we're able to cross paths and hopefully you know we're spending a lot of time together in the off season with the national team as well. So yeah, we had a good balance there.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he appears on the PHNX podcast.
Yes, that was pointed out to me.
So I mean, the rivalry extent. We're expecting an incredible performance.
I think the outcome will be like pretty similar.
Let's
to
go.
I love
Nuggets
that.
coming down on top. Yeah.
Love that.
Dude, I'm telling you,
now.
man.
That was low hanging fruit right there.
That was
Jack
too
knows
easy.
what he's doing.
Throwing you some softballs to
100%.
hit home. So one of the things from our perspective, you know, being outside the locker room, is the end of the season was so clear that Denver was preparing for the playoffs by resting, by, you know, taking their foot off the gas, so to speak. Was there a noticeable difference being around the team? I know you spent some time in Grand Rapids and away from them, but when did you notice that it was like, oh, it's different now? There's a different energy.
Well, I guess the timing of my stint, you mentioned Grand Rapids. I had like a stint. I think I was there for maybe at least 2.5, 3 weeks at the end of the season and finished off the remainder of the G League season with them. And then I came back sort of right at the end of March. And it was at that point, you know, we had 2 weeks left. And, you know, the sight of locking down the number 1 seed was right there. And obviously we didn't have the, I guess, efficient finish that we wanted. You know, in the preseason, we had the goal of breaking the previous record for the number of wins in the regular season.
Oh, really?
Being 58.
That was a stated goal.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, like, we've had these goals in sight, you know, since training camp, and it was a really cool thing. Obviously disappointing that we didn't get it done, but, you know, a goal is, you know, getting that number 1 seed, which we did do. But, and for me, like, as a two-way, it's like, once we get that 1 seed and, you know, we have the opportunity to rest guys, I was like, man, like, I can't wait to, you know, get in a bit more and, you know, have a bit more of a shot, because obviously playing on the number 1 seed, it's competitive, man. It's tough to get minutes, and you know, I was really just trying to make the most of every opportunity I could get. So, but yeah, obviously we didn't win the games we should have. We didn't really have the momentum that you'd desire going into the playoffs. And like for me personally, it was like I want to play, but like I want to see us coming in with that right momentum, like playing the right way and hitting our form at the right time. So it was good to see that, and you know, I felt like the Sacramento game, we did a better job of that, and obviously got the win, and, you know, guys came in at the end. But prior to that, like first half, 3 quarters, like I felt like we kind of got back on the horse a bit, and hope Jock would like that reference. But, you know, we were
He's definitely watching. But
yeah, we were just hitting our mark, I think, at the right time, and, you know, flowed nicely into Minnesota.
Man, so what I wonder is, like, is there just a noticeable difference in the energy, even when you get into the games? Like, regular season game carries a certain amount of, you know, intensity or whatever, but then when the playoffs start, whether it's practices, whether it's just like walking through the halls and guys are like, hey, talking about this or that, is there a noticeable difference, or is it honestly just kind of the same, just the stakes are higher?
Good question. I mean, I think there's a bit of it there where just the general vibe is everyone's just a bit more locked in. Not to say, obviously, that we're not, but it's just naturally, you know, the playoff and the level like brings you up, right? It's hard
I know you're afraid to say it, but it's an 82-game season, man. You can't be locked in for.
Yeah.
I mean,
I sleepwalked through most of these. I prepared for today.
Yeah, but it's just like, you know, like this is what you wait for all year. This is what you compete for all year to put yourself, you know, number 1 seeded and positioned to win a championship. And, you know, like even when we beat Minnesota in the series, and even last night, like, you know, obviously it's a positive moment. It's a great moment for the team, but like, job's far from over in our eyes. So I think too, because that's been established since training camp, that, you know, we wanted to obviously win a championship, and like everyone's going to say that, but for us to really feel like, you know, this is a realistic scenario for us, and to get the number 1 seed, you know, ticking those boxes, almost getting that win record, having guys healthy, obviously a huge thing that's, you know, been a talking point for our group. So you know, all the pieces of the puzzle are sort of coming together nicely, and everyone's just super locked in, man. Like, yeah, like the messaging is clear, you know, shoot-arounds, you know, guys are locked in, big games, you know, like you can just see it on guys' faces. Like Jamal, bro, like I get along real well with Jay, and like right before the playoffs started, like you won't talk to him. Like he's just like he's like in the zone, and like, you know, like that's a huge part of, like, guys are just really just locked into it. And as a collective, like there's no egos, like everyone's just all in on it, and it's a really awesome thing to be around.
Man, that's really cool. What about trash talk? Is there more trash talk in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean a bit. I wish I was. Man, I wish I was. So I was watching the game in the back last night because Phoenix has bloody terrible logistics with their court seating. But
Ishbia has the seat. He's right there at the
right. The arena's set up differently than like every other arena. So
yeah, so I wish I had a bit more of a gauge on how that was last night, especially because we wiped the floor with them a bit. But like there are moments where it obviously gets heated. You know, like the KD push on Jock and like those moments where the tensions are. You can feel it, but for the most part, like for us, like we don't have huge trash talkers on our team. Like Jamal will say some stuff here and there.
Ramped it up a little bit.
Oh yeah,
in the
but
playoffs.
I feel like you can just see his body language, his demeanor, like he's playing well too. Like he's backing it up. So I think it's all clicking for him at a night. Like like Bubble Jamal, all this talk. Like I feel like he's doing a good job of, I guess, showing his consistency and like that he's made for this level, and like that just wasn't a one-off thing, and like he's that guy and he's that good, and he's 26 years old, like he's young, and just getting better and better since coming off the injury. So it's a super exciting time for him, our team. Man, it's a great time of year.
Speaking about Jamal real quick, could you get a sense for how the Bubble Murray stuff pissed him off, like how that kind of just built the fire in him?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like looking at him and how he operates, like it's like an internal, I don't know, want and desire to like continue to get better and improve and like prove people wrong and prove that he can do this and just reaching his full potential. Like I feel like his mental approach to the game, and I've known this about him for a while. Like even we played against each other like years ago, and there was all this talk about his meditation and his like mindfulness, his approach to that side of the game. And obviously this time of the year it's heightened with the playoffs and being locked in and things like that. Like he was a bit under the weather yesterday. Obviously, like I saw on Twitter, whatever it was, questionable.
He was questionable. It seemed like
it was under the weather, and then comes through and has a performance like that, and obviously leads the front. Being a point guard, he's an extension of coach, and it's a huge luxury to have Jock, obviously being able to play make as well. But for Jamal, like he's carrying the ball a lot, making a lot of decisions if he could roll. Like he's locked in and he's doing great. He's making good decisions. He's scoring the ball at an unbelievable level, and I think all that stuff just rubs off on everyone, and it's just a collective. Talking about time of the year and vibe and mentality, like the boys are about.
I love how Jamal trash talks with his entire body.
Jamal has the best facial.
Yeah, he's a really good face maker.
He's got the best like smirk. Like
Landry
Shamet
doesn't have much of a poker face. So.
he has a terrible poker face.
A bear poker face.
Oh man, I want to get back to trash talk though. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how would you rate yourself?
My trash talk? I don't actually talk a lot of trash. I mean,
really?
I'm like. I like to let my game sort of do the talking or whatever, but I feel like I'm a big talker on the court. Trash, not as much.
So you're talking like defensive assignment.
What you have for dinner?
Like I'll swear a lot and like yell and try and get the boys fired up or whatever. But I'm never like signaling someone out and being like. You're trash, bro. You can't guard me. I'm just like, I might like say like a little cheeky remark here and there if like we're playing pickup or whatever, or just to get a reaction or whatever. But nothing too, I guess, malicious.
Who's the best trash talker on the Nuggets then?
I mean, you got to put Jamal up there.
Yeah,
I feel like like when Jock talks, it's loud because he's not a huge. Usually verbal guy, so whenever he does and he gets heated, like it's good to watch.
Hold on a second.
Brother, I have 47.
I can't picture him talking trash because he just seems to do
it. It's like brother, I have 47.
Yeah, it's just like simple stuff like that is. It carries a lot of weight. It's good. Like there's not much like trash. He's just like direct. He's like, I'm just better than you. Or it's like the boys, like, because he won't say it and the boys will have his back and they'll be saying like, oh brother, like he's cooking you. Like you can get creative with your imagination. Obviously, how the boys get the point across. But yeah, it's cool because it's like a collective thing, and like that's the cool thing about Jock. Honestly, it's like it's never about him. Like, and when your best players like that, like it definitely rubs off on the culture within the team and the camaraderie. And I feel like that sticks out in our play, and I feel like that's another reason why we've been able to create something and do so well throughout the course of an 82-game season. Is you have that sort of foundation of just having a good bunch of lads, and there's going to be ups and downs, of course, like losing streaks, this, that, and the other injuries, but like just having a core like great group of people to be around and competing for a common goal, no egos, like goes a long way.
Yeah. I just got 2 more questions on the series, and we'll take a break and we'll start moving on to some of your path here. But if you could distill it down to just 1 or 2 things, why did the Nuggets win the series? Why do you feel it was a success?
Great question. One, I feel like just personnel-wise, we just have a great mix of people that complement each other well, and when like everyone's doing their job at a high level, it's like we really just uplift each other. I feel like, obviously, with our unselfishness, and that comes a lot from how Jock plays and the attention he deserves. Been obviously a big focus for us defensively is on Booker and KD, and making micro adjustments on them as the series went on, and obviously the games that they won, like damn near unstoppable the whole game, and we let them get going early, especially in transition. So it was always a big focus for us to first of all, it's like those are the things you sort of can't coach. Like there's no X's and O's. It's like, guys, like we got to stop the ball, we got to talk, we got to keep them off the glass, keep them from getting downhill on us, all those kinds of things. It's just sort of like personal pride, and like we have the guys to do it, but it was just a matter of it's easier said than done. These guys are obviously world-class players and fighting for the same thing we are. But I think whenever we play defense, man, like I really think no one can come close, because if we get out and run and we have that freedom of space and movement, and the defense isn't able to get set on us, and I feel like we're just too good, and guys just make the right play naturally to be able to get good looks and just get us going. And we've been unbelievable at home. I think how we've been throughout the whole playoff so far at home has been great. And obviously, stealing wins on the road is a big part of being able to win the whole thing. So I feel like we're trending in the right direction there, and we've just been getting better and better still throughout the series. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint one thing.
But you could probably just say Jokic.
Yeah,
too.
you just say Jokic is the best player in the world.
But to his point, though, I mean, a lot of guys made all these big contributions. Like, it's a funny joke, but
I mean, you are right about the defense. Like, that's been the case all season. It felt like
100%.
when you've brought it defensively, it's like, no, nobody can stop these guys.
Do you think the whole team kind of agrees with that sentiment of our defense is the thing that makes the baseline so high?
I think so. It's like, what was the game? We lost 4 and we put up 120, I think, right?
Yeah.
But it's like we can score, and like even that game, I didn't think our offense was great, but
you still scored.
We're going to score, and we have the talent to score. But like when we get stops and make our offense easier for ourselves, I feel like it's just it's night and day.
Yeah. Let's take a break. On the other side, I want to get into a little bit more about Australia and your rise, kind of how you arrived at Duke, how you arrived with the Nuggets, all of that stuff here in segment 2.
Guys, it's patio season at Illegal Pete's. This episode of the DNVR Nuggets Podcast brought to you by Illegal Pete's. Spring is here. That means patio beers kick off the spring season with a house beer bucket for you and your whole crew. 5 refreshing 16-ounce beers for $15. Doesn't get much better than that. That's at any Illegal Pete's location. We got one right down the street from the bar on Colfax. Tons of them all over Colorado and Arizona as well.
I'm not too bad.
Soak up the sun with a loaded burrito, a crisp beer at the patio of any Illegal Pete's location. Illegal Pete's is your go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer.
Also, Illegal Pete's officially collaborating with DNVR for the official playoff shirt.
Ooh, we're getting another?
No, but this is one
the original playoff shirt.
Get the playoff shirt.
Yes,
It's with
the beautiful official playoff shirt. There it is. Yes, collaborated with Illegal Pete's on that. I didn't.
We all know.
Also, if you want tickets for the Western Conference Finals, maybe
I'm interested.
could be interesting. Could be fun.
You've got my attention.
Okay, check out the Game Time app. Use the code DNVR for $20 off your purchase. You got to create an account. You got to download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code DNVR, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account, redeem the code DNVR for $20 off. Make sure to download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. If you want to sit courtside
I'd like
for the
that.
Western Conference Finals, do you want to? Does that sound good?
I
to
mean,
you?
again, I'm interested.
Okay, well, you can get those tickets on the Game Time app.
If anybody wants to buy D-Line courtside, he'll take it as well.
I will. That's true.
It has happened
Row 5.
before.
It has happened before. I've sat. I don't mean to brag, Jack. I've sat courtside. So.
You might have noticed him. I mean, come on, the man's practically always there.
The one time.
It's like Jack Nicholson of the Nuggets, basically.
Yeah.
Is that it? We're back, baby.
We're
All
back.
right. All right. So again, I know Australia. I've never been. I know
It's a long
Australia.
way away.
It's a little bit of a ways away. I know it's a big sports culture, as you mentioned, but with basketball, like, how did you get? Obviously, you're a tall guy. Was it as simple as that? You're tall. Sports. This is your sport.
I mean, my parents were involved in the game. They both played a bit. Nothing too serious, but my old man probably was more so involved than anything. He was a pretty good referee. And yeah, like, I think just growing up anyway, I got a twin brother. Younger sister, we're always just a pretty sporty family, just sort of fitting in with the culture of Australia a bit there. But like, I played tennis, cricket, like Australian rules football and basketball. And yeah, sort of when I was like 12, 13, like I actually probably wasn't as good as basketball, you know, compared to footy and these other sports when I was younger, but I loved hoops. Like, I'd play at every recess, lunch at school, like dribble the ball between my legs, walking to school and stuff. Like, I was just obsessed. And probably a bit of a late bloomer when it came to it. Obviously, you know, I grew and got tall and stuff, but yeah, when I was like 13, 14, I was kind of made the decision. I'm like, I really want to pursue basketball. And at that time, you know, I'd seen like Daly and Paddy Mills, like these other Aussies, like go to college and have success there. So that was sort of the pathway that was, I guess, imprinted in my mind about what I wanted to do. And at that time when I was growing up, like, the NBL wasn't what it is today, with the, you know, being a legitimate pathway for younger guys coming out of high school and everything like that. So I was fixated on college, and, you know, obviously put a lot of time into the game and worked hard at it, and was super fortunate to have a lot of really good people around me to support my basketball and what I wanted to do. And yeah, just kind of went from there. I was super lucky with college recruiting and everything like that.
But I want to know about that part. You kind of you had good people around you. Was it like you got into a good system? Because out here it's AAU. I don't know what it is out there.
I mean, like, not much is actually ran through schools.
Okay.
I actually started playing against men when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
Was part of a really great bunch of guys. Latrobe City Energy. It's like probably 3rd, 4th tier, like, league in Australia, but like, it's like a state league. And we would play. I'd play in Melbourne. We'd play in junior teams, like my hometown, Traralgon. And then would play in like a competition in Melbourne. So I live like 2 hours away from Melbourne, and I was part of this team that would travel. And we'd play Melbourne teams every Friday, and got involved with like Country Victoria, like state performance programs, and just sort of started slowly, I guess, climbing the ranks there a bit. Probably the biggest thing is playing for like your state team at like national champs. So I did that starting from top age under 16. So I was 14, turning 15. Did that all the way through under 20s. And
What kind of player were you at this time? Are you the star of the team?
no, not really. I mean, like, I was playing pretty good when I was top age 16s. Like, I put up like 12 and 8 a game.
Yeah.
I was sort of definitely not the best player on my team. Played on a national team, but like hardly played all tournament. Was kind of the 11th, 12th man. But I had a really good under 18 when I was top age. So I was like just turning 17. Had a really good tournament where I averaged like 20 and 10 and a few assists a game. And that's what actually got me a scholarship to go to the Australian Institute of Sport, where like every notable Australian basketball player ends up. And And then, when I got there, the facilities there, the coaching, support, the competition with obviously having the best players in the country there alongside me, sort of started at the bottom of the food chain and was just sort of like a sponge and soaked everything up and, like, to be frank, like worked my ass off and
Really?
Made really good strides over obviously, especially the first 12 months I was there, but the 2 years I was there before I went to college, improved a lot, played on another national team and had great luck with college recruiting. Obviously, Duke coming along, and
Was that where you think it was that?
yeah. So like my connection to Duke and how it initially came about, like really, I guess, peculiar, like niche story. But so one of the guys, Patrick Hunt, he was one of the founders of the Australian Institute of Sport and a big time name in Australian basketball and has been for a long time. But he's involved in international hoops and like FIBA technical committees and like coaches, coaching and stuff. So he had met Coach K through, obviously Coach K's involvement with the national team at the Olympics, World Champs, what have you. And he sort of name dropped me to him kind of later in my time there. He had seen me sort of progress during my time and obviously super fortunate. Like I knew I wanted to go to college and obviously Duke with the academics and athletics is sort of the best of both worlds there. And at that time, like I'd finished high school when Duke came along and I was sort of thinking about the NBL as a possibility going pro out of high school. But obviously the good thing with college is if I go and I don't like it, I can always sort of come back home and try my luck at that. But, if I go pro, I don't like it, I'm sort of stuck. I can't go to college. And I think just the overall experience, the education was a big thing for me. Always been, I guess, competitive in school as well. And, what an incredible opportunity to get a free education from Duke, like.
What were you studying?
I did sociology and marketing. But yeah, basketball schedule, I wanted to do a double major. It kind of fell through with missing labs and stuff like that. And,
Can't relate.
I barely pulled off a single major.
Single major, no sports.
No sports.
No, I had problems.
Limited extracurriculars.
Yeah, I had problems watching sports, and then that wasn't my.
What are Australian players known for? I'll tell you my stereotype. I think they elbow a lot. They're known for physicality.
Yeah, I would say physicality. I don't know about the bows, but
man, I saw when we were doing Torrey Craig. Remember, we were like researching the NBL, and I just remember
we were
being
actually
like,
teammates for
were
a
you
month
really?
in Cairns. Yep.
Really? That's
so after I
crazy.
finished high school, I got called up as like an injury replacement.
Wow.
So this bloke Stephen Way hurt his knee, and Torrey was there as an import at the time, and we were teammates for about 6 weeks. That's
That's
funny.
pretty cool.
Small world. Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember the highlights of being like takedowns, fast break, and guy would come across.
I think one of the things was like when Torrey got here, one of the talking points was, the NBL is a real physical league, so maybe he'll be able to adapt quicker to NBA physicality than somebody coming, just out of college or anything.
Yeah, well, I think so. I think a part of it, like I mentioned, I started playing against men when I was 14. Like I feel like a lot of because our stuff's done by age and not through kind of school and grade. If you're like one of the more elite guys your age, then the way for you to, I guess, get that competition is to play against men. And like I was fortunate, a great bunch of men, like a men's team in my area that, sort of took me under their wing and helped me develop a lot when I was, 14, 15 before I went off to the Institute of Sport. But like obviously the league, we play FIBA rules. Obviously in the international game, you can do a lot more if you're not showing hands and stuff. Like, the NBA rules protect offensive players a lot.
You can actually.
We've noticed.
Yeah, you can actually play defense in the NBL.
And ironically, but like Nicole has still got bloody scratches all over his arms.
We've noticed that.
We actually made a T-shirt featuring his scars.
Can I get one? Jeez.
We actually will give you one.
Yeah, moment in time. But
I'm curious. So we always hear Adam was saying like we find that there's a lot of Australians that find our show, and usually the common thread is Allen Iverson for whatever reason.
Interesting.
Carmelo and Iverson, but Iverson mostly.
Was there an NBA player that you looked at when you were growing up? Like,
I mean, when I was growing up, like I'm 25, I'm a 1997 boy. Like I was like kind of LeBron was my main one that I love to watch.
So wild.
Kobe. I mean Denver. I mean even still, I feel like the media and sort of the push, in the spotlight for Denver is not quite there. Like even with like an AI and Melo and stuff, like was never really a super big deal for me growing up, as like I was living, breathing basketball, so and even now, like the coverage just, I feel like as a team,
Don't get
I'm
us
sure you
started,
guys
Jack.
can agree. Like, I
Jack,
feel like we just don't get the
let
respect.
us tell you.
Do you guys ever talk about that as a team? Are you guys ever like, man, it's nobody? The game 5, I turned on one of the major ESPN podcasts, and they started this Nugget segment with, "Now I didn't watch the game." I was like, wait a second, what are we doing in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much chat about it. Like it is what it is, but like everyone sort of knows what's up with it, right? And even it's just like things as small as I hopped on socials and saw like all the predictions for like our series with the Suns, right? And like no one, the best we got was us in 7,
right?
Like,
Despite you being the number 1 seed with the back-to-back MVP.
like, come on, like. It's just a bit unfathomable sometimes, if I'm honest.
We agree.
We've learned
That's why we made this podcast.
Yeah, we've learned to fathom it. It's come up more than once.
Well, it's working, man. Getting out to Australia, Serbia.
Let's go.
Word's getting out.
Man, we need to. I want to go to Australia. We talk about that, our big trip to Serbia. I want to make our next one to Australia.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, exactly. So, you go to Duke. You have your career at Duke. You play professionally down in Australia for a little bit. How did you end up on the Nuggets? Like, where did you get the call? Who was it that made the call? How did that happen?
Yeah, so my rookie year in the NBL, my first year out of college, obviously COVID. A goal for mine was to have a good year with Melbourne United. Obviously, try and win a championship. We had a really good team. But I definitely feel like I didn't showcase who I truly was as a player at Duke. I've sort of wanted to, I guess, reinvent myself in a way and I guess prove a point to how I am as a player. And, in order to achieve my goal, like I've always wanted to be an Olympian, always wanted to be an NBA player since I, kind of set out that basketball was what I wanted to do. And, I was still young at the time, obviously in like early 20s, and wanted to make that happen. And I thought the NBL was a great avenue for that. But yeah, so I tore my Achilles actually after playing 11 games my rookie year. And that year in the off season, I believe the Nuggets were going to try and pursue me for summer league then. But obviously I was I was on the sideline. And then, like I knew that hopefully I would demand a bit of interest for summer league with my play. Like I was playing pretty well up until the point I got hurt. And I felt like when I came back, did a really good job of the rehab and everything, and had great people around me again. Shout out to Hoop City staff and everyone that helped me out during my time with the rehab, and Melbourne United wouldn't have been able to do this without their help. And but yeah, had a pretty good second year there in the NBL. Disappointing end to the season we had there, but I felt like individually I'd come back in a pretty good place. And my agent, it was actually like right as the Nuggets were about to start the playoffs last year, and we sort of got everything, kind of done deal, and got me locked in with them for Summer League, which was a really cool thing for me because kind of lifts a bit of a weight off my shoulders, and for a team to sort of want to get that done pretty early, and for like them to have their Summer League team, start to sort of take shape, and for me to be a part of it was a really cool thing. And obviously knew about the organization. Seemed like a great culture and a great city. I'd never been to Denver before, and it just sort of worked out perfectly, if I'm honest.
What did you think though when you got on the team? Like, did they say, "Hey, this is the situation. We got this spot and this spot, and these are the guys we're looking at, and you have a chance"? Like, what was that conversation like? Did you know you were going to be a two-way?
I didn't know I was going to be a two-way. I did know that there was the potential for me to get one, and they had that spot open after the draft. They signed Colin straight away to the other two-way spots. I knew that there was one open, and for me, I had the opportunity to play with the Boomers, the senior national team, in World Cup qualifiers, like right at the end of June and right at the beginning of July. So like right when Summer League camp was on.
I remember you were like a late coming to Summer League or something.
I missed half the camp, and I was like, I came in.
That's right. I did forget that too.
Like a zombie, man. Like I was falling asleep at like 4 p.m. every day because of the time difference.
Yeah.
And,
We're not so different.
but I was like super cool for the Nuggets to allow me to do that and come in late and understand how much the national team means to me. And like that was such a cool moment for me. That was my first time, obviously post Achilles. We had World Cup qualifiers. It was my first time on the senior squad, like playing in Melbourne, like in front of friends and family. Like it was a super like memorable thing for me, and like super grateful that the Nuggets allowed me to do that, and then obviously come late and still gives me an opportunity and a fair shot to, you know, get the spot. And yeah, I mean, fortunately, you know, obviously I had a few good games and played
Monster
well.
on the boards.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
I don't know how my legs had it, bro. It just seemed like it literally just seemed like every ball was bouncing my way. Like,
we graded every game because we're sickos that way. And I like went back and looked. And
We have nothing better.
We have nothing going on. But like you know, you definitely are one of the players that absolutely popped. Like you were a monster on the boards. Like it wasn't something that I specifically. I mean, we didn't know exactly what we were watching. But is that something that you are trying to work? Are you trying to show that you're a rebounder? Do you have something you're trying to showcase to the team when you're going into a summer league like that?
well, going into summer league for me, and like even with Melbourne, I felt like I was a really good role player. I've never, like, and especially going into summer league, like, you know, I don't need to try out to be the man, right? Like
Right.
like I knew how the Nuggets play. I know that it's a lot of off-ball, unselfish, European.
Yeah.
You're kind of more like what I'm used to, right? And for me, I've always taken pride in my defense, my rebounding, and you know, my shot's been something that I've been working at for years. And like, I think, you know, mentality's, you know, the mental side of shooting is probably the most significant thing for me that has improved. And not having a conscious and having that confidence has been, I guess, what's like taken me to the next level. Obviously,
How do you get that though? I always hear people say that, like you have to become, you know, non-conscious or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, it's just like you sort of need to drill it into yourself, honestly. And I think, you know, I've always been like you know, prideful of the work that I put in and how much time I commit to the game, and especially like my shooting in this case. But you know, working with Mike Penberthy, who's you know, with the Nuggets staff, and he's been great for me and working on little, you know, tweaking things to make my shot quicker, making me more balanced.
how often do you work with him? Like, is that more
when he's in
off-season?
town? I'm there. Like, we're in there every night.
Really?
He's in town, so he's been great. But yeah, like obviously putting the work in is a big part of the mental side and having that confidence for sure. But like in terms of summer league, like I knew coming in, I'm like trying out for being an elite role player, right?
Right.
And I feel like I was able to show that with my rebounding in those games and my efficiency in the game after against the Clippers, and just sort of playing off, you know, Colin and CB, P. Watt, and
Right.
these guys are obviously better with the ball in their hands than I would be. And I was like I'm cool with that.
Right,
Like, you know,
yeah.
I feel like if I'm going to be a contributor in the NBA, I'm going to be an elite defender, an elite rebounder, an elite teammate, and an elite floor spacer. And you know, I feel like I'm a good athlete. I can get out and transition and straight line drive and kick. Like I don't feel like needs to be a complicated game that I need to play to be effective, and especially within our system, I feel like it just fits in well. I mean, you see what AG does, for example, or KCP.
Right.
Like it's like guys perfected the simple, and it's incredible. Like you look at KCP last night, like he's not doing anything crazy, right? But like just makes the game easy for himself, and you're able to do that when you have, you know, the personnel like we do with Jamal and Jock, the attention they demand, and just being able to just play and make easy reads. It's like you know, I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah. On the topic of shooting, I remember at training camp, somebody told us that the Nuggets have this drill where you shoot 100 threes.
Yeah.
And you hit 83.
I think he told us.
Oh, was that?
Somebody
It's
told
probably,
us.
it's probably me bragging.
I think that was according to Jack White.
I didn't
Unnamed source.
I didn't remember how it got out to the public.
Someone must have leaked it.
But you went 83 of 100. Do you still have the record?
Yeah. I got a few records.
What are the records?
All right, so I still have the 83. I haven't surpassed that all season.
Who's second in that?
I think Mike.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Mike is.
That's who I would think.
I think Mike's got 80.
80?
Actually, I
So
got 80.
close.
I actually got 80 yesterday. I was flat. 'Cause I should have beaten the record.
Pretty terrible. Yeah.
Call the shooting coach.
So that's a Nuggets under. That's like a, you know, bunch of threes off the move pretty much for 100 of them. And then there's the easy 100, which is just 5 spots, 20 shots.
Right.
You
Okay.
score out of 100. I got the one for that. I got 90. Choked it though, man. I actually had like
90 out of 100.
yeah, but listen to this. Hear me out. So I go first spot, 19 of 20.
Okay.
Second, 19 of 20. Third, 19 of 20. Fourth spot, I miss the first shot at the spot. Ding, 19. So I'm 76 of 80. I'm like, oh boy, like I'm ripping a 95. And then went 14 of 20 on the last spot. So flat, man.
This is what people don't get. Jack White, a rookie on a 2-way contract, hits 90 out of 100 threes in an open gym.
You don't do that?
That's insane.
I don't think I've cumulatively hit 90.
That's insane.
But I mean, like it is kind of my job, you know. Like I have the luxury of just, you know, me going to work is like me
Right.
putting up shots, like hopping in the ice tub, like lifting weights, like, dude, like I got the easy job, you know. Like it's just, it's like I'm living my childhood dream, man. Like at the end of the day, like it's nice for me to be able to take a step back from and be like, dude, like I'm with the #1 seed,
Right.
watching 2-time MVP, future Hall of Famer, like an elite team. We're going to the conference finals. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Like,
that's cool.
I mean,
That's cool.
I love this. You know what I mean? This is the Jack White origin story. Let's get into the story of him this year in our third and final segment. Let's take our last break here. You might have to squeeze them all into this one here, Harrison.
I'm good.
You're good?
Appreciate that. Yeah.
All
Fosters?
right. When you get hurt, Baxton Shanker is here to
People
help.
don't be
Baxton
drinking
Shanker,
Fosters
they
in
win for
Australia.
Colorado families. They've been helping those seriously injured in Colorado for more than 25 years, and you don't pay them any money until they win your case. No
this
upfront
last
fees, no
week.
fees while they work on your case. They've won $1 billion for their clients.
Let's
So
go, dude.
give Backus and Shanker a call, 222-2222, to find out if you have a case for free. Backus and Shanker helps with all kinds of injury cases where you weren't at fault. Car accident, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrians, trucks. They can even help you if you're injured at work. Give them a call. Find out if you have a case for free.
I've always thought of Jack White and MPJ as the Backus and Shanker of 3-point shots in an open gym.
I'll take that.
Also, gotta talk about Manscaped. Summer is coming. Are you ready to unveil your beach bod? Manscaped is here.
Do you want to work Jack White into this ad
He
read at all?
can do the read if he wants.
Hey,
Manscaped is here to ensure your body is ready for the wild with their game-changing full-body grooming and hygiene products. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you increase your confidence and level up your full-body grooming with the Performance Package 4.0. Comes
Hell
with
yeah.
the Lawnmower 4.0, Crop Preserver, Crop Reviver, the Weed Whacker 2.0. They got everything you need at Manscaped. 20% off plus free shipping with the code DNVR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code DNVR at manscaped.com. Also, shout out to Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel partner of DNVR and ALLCITY. They've got awesome polos, hats, golf bags. They got the beer sleeve. They've also got tons
Liquor
of other
stick.
stuff. The liquor stick.
You're going right over there.
And you just put it in your golf bag. Looks like a golf club, except it's just full of alcohol.
What it does is it
There's one right over there.
it enables you to turn the gentleman's sport of golf into the degenerate sport of
Yeah.
golf that
Go-
we all know
go
to
get the liquor
be at its heart. Nobody likes to hit the ball for 18 holes without being blind drunk. You turn it on,
yeah.
Like a soap
and it just
It's actually an incredible product. Like, I didn't know
Oh
it
my
has that
God.
motor.
yeah,
in it, though.
it's a motorized pump,
that's some serious.
and it
tech.
dispenses liquor.
Pinsandaces.com.
Some
Use the
serious tech
code DNVR to
Just
get
to get drunk on a
15% off
golf
your
course.
first
Tune in.
order and get free shipping.
How
And
big this thing is, too, by the way. Who's drinking this much in one
I
round
believe
of
that.
golf?
I believe that's 1/5.
That's a
no,
lot.
that's a 750. It's
750 mls. Okay,
gotta be.
let's go.
Finally,
kind of heavy.
Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Check out Shady Rays. It was raining yesterday. It's beautiful out today. You need some Shady Rays. If you use the code DNVR at shadyrays.com,
Standards are low.
50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by 250,000 people. Shadyrays.com. Use the code DNVR. 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses.
Yeah, we're not worrying about the sun anymore.
That's right. The
sun.
the sun, the suns.
No
we're done.
more worrying about the Suns at all.
Dunzo.
Anyway, all right. So now let's get in. So you do summer league, have a successful summer league. You get the 2-way, and you show up for training camp, or maybe even a little bit before. Yoke arrives, I think, the day of media day. I think it was
Yeah.
when So is that the first time you'd ever met him?
Yep.
And what was the first impression?
Oh, dude, I was like sort of like starstruck a bit for real. Like, just sort of happened in passing pretty quick off the rip, and I was just like oh, like obviously like big 7-foot dude. I'm like, oh damn, like, and like our lockers are next to each other in the locker room, so like we've sort of got acquainted pretty quick, and like he's just a good fella as it is, and you know, I know some bad words in Serbian / Croatian from past teammates and stuff, so like I had a good bit of banter there already.
Is that what you led with? Like, hey, I'm Jack
I would do the
White.
same thing.
Like first
Go F
interaction,
your mother or something. Wait, what?
second interaction sort of pulled that out, and I was like, let him know like how it is.
That's hilarious.
But
Did he appreciate that?
Yeah, of course.
you know
like same with Chucky as well, like meeting Vlaco as well. Cause
That's a nice little trio you guys have in the locker room because it's Joker, you, Vlatko.
Yep.
Your locker's right there.
But when we went to Serbia, we were also introduced to some Serbian
I feel like that's
swear concepts.
That's true, actually.
And they're like pretty dark. Like, like
I know.
Like, I'm just kidding.
There was some pretty funny ones.
What's Joker like in the locker room though? Because I remember in Minnesota I was there, and I think you guys lose game 4.
Yep.
And I walk into the locker room, and Joker is watching like a YouTube video of somebody playing like League of Legends.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, he's watching League, or he's like watching like horse racing, like literally what he said last night. That he's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna watch my friend race horses in Italy. Like he's not
That's
lying.
exactly what he's gonna do.
We've determined he's never lying. It sometimes seems like he's telling a joke, but it's literally what he's going to do.
No, but that's just like the funny thing about him. Like that's like his humor as well. Like, he's just a funny dude.
Yeah.
And like he knows like he's smart like that. Like he knows when he's being funny. He can sort of play off the character of, you know, English is my second language, like being honest and whatever. Like he's just a super intelligent guy, just overall. And obviously translates to how he plays basketball. But he's a great locker room guy, like hilarious. Like he'll just, you know, if he's eating like a nectarine or something and he's got like little pips or whatever, he'll just like throw them at you just to like annoy you, or like.
I get the sense that he's just like everybody's little / big brother.
He's the he's the little brother.
He's the little bigger. Like he has little brother energy, and that he's like always like kind of like going at people.
He has
but
experience in that role.
Yeah, but and then he's also the largest human being. I think.
And like the 2-time MVP. It's just like, but he is a bit of he's a joker. He's good at that.
Yeah.
And obviously, as we see it in the media with his interviews and stuff, he has plenty of funny moments. But he has a great balance between like, you know, obviously being serious game time around and joking around, being like a personable teammate. Like obviously his status is like, for me, for example, is like I feel like me and him get along really well, but like we're at like literally opposite ends of the spectrum of NBA players.
Yeah. And that's something that's cool about how he relates.
Yeah, and just like our culture and within our group in general, within the organization, like I feel like I bring value to the group, and like the team values me, and like I'm sure, you know, Colin would say the same thing. And, you know, even though he hasn't stepped on the court like this year, like for me, like just seeing him and like how like with DJ and Jeff especially, like having great vets, it's like it's a cool thing, man. Like super underrated, I feel like.
If we get into the season now for you, I mean, first of all, let's just go to training camp because it's your first introduction to the team. That's like, what was going through your mind there? Like, what stood out to you about this team? Was there a player that you were kind of like, man, I didn't know this guy was like this? Or what were the first lessons?
Like seeing Joker in person for the first time. Like first time we had like a scrimmage, he's just whipping one of his classic, like catching at the elbow and just scooting it to the opposite corner to like KCP for a 3. I'm like, oh geez, like he's not messing around. Like first quarter of the scrimmage, he's got like 7 assists, like, you know, like 7, 5, and 7. Like I'm just like, oh, like he does really do this, you know.
That's great.
And yeah, I think like even for me, like just soaking everything in. It's like DeAndre Jordan, I'm like, oh my, like Jeff Green, like what Jamal, like MPJ. It's like these are all like guys, like names that just as a basketball fan, like, you know, it's just a fucking unreal thing to be around, right? And like I was really just trying to be a sponge and soak everything up. Obviously my first training camp, like I've had, and being a part of a great group, like I was really just trying to I guess get my bearings and enjoy the experience.
Is there a play from practice or scrimmage or any of these things, like you get a big block on somebody or a dunk on somebody? Is there any of these behind the scenes? Like he'll never admit it, but I caught him on a poster one time.
No, Jock won't admit it, but like, so we, I'm going straight for the big fella.
Straight to Jokic.
So like training camp, like I'm subbing in, we're doing a little scrimmage, and I get switched on to him, and he's going to post me up. I'm like, oh boy, like I know how this goes, you know. So I was like, all right, I got to do something here, else he's going to make a fool of me. And like it was like the first sort of interaction we had on the court, and like I like slipped out and like released the seal and like went around and like stripped the pass and stole it. And I was like, oh man, like I just did that. Like,
did you give it?
So it was cool. Yeah, I was like,
Did you give it a look back to him?
If I did it at this point, I would. But back then, I wasn't quite at that level with the big fella. I didn't want to get him going too bad. But like that was a cool moment for me because it's like obviously someone who I respect a lot, and like he's obviously an incredible player in person. It was like just a moment for me to sort of be like, all right, man, like you're here now, like you belong. Although it was like, it doesn't really mean much, like in the grand scheme of things, but it's just like, again, like mentally, like it just makes a difference for you to be like, all right, like I am an NBA player, like I am here for a reason. Right. Like they did give me a two-way for a reason. Like, and like for me, like always, like I'm a country kid, like from bloody Australia. I'm like, again, taking a step back, it's like, dude, like look where I am. Like what? It's like absurd. So that was a really cool moment.
MVP.
Guess I'm the best guy on the team.
Yeah, that's my team now.
I'm better than I thought.
Yeah. All right, what about I imagine a guy in your place go to the NBL and probably make more money right out of the bat, or go to Europe, or do this or that. You come to the NBA, I imagine, because you want to push yourself to be the best basketball player you can be in this world. Do you feel like now that you've spent a season in the NBA, that you've become a better player than you could have possibly come in any other circumstance?
Yeah, I think just being surrounded by, like, obviously the level of players that we have on our team, and like, if you're not going to get up to speed, then you're going to get found out, and like that's something that I feel like has always pushed me and allowed me to improve as a player. Like, sort of being at the bottom of the food chain, like when I was 14 playing for my first men's team, it's like I'm on the bottom, I've got to work this out. Going to the Institute of Sport when I was 16 and being like the bottom guy, like youngest guy, and then having to work it out. Like I feel like that's where a lot of my improvement, a lot of significant improvement has come from. And coming here into this environment, obviously one of the most elite basketball environments on the planet, you got to rise up and learn. And that's a great thing about it. Like the people that we have around, like the vets, for example, like coaching staff, like everyone's trying to help you get along and like cares about your development. Right. For me, like I feel like I got the two-way contract for everything, like but my shooting, but like they see real value in my shooting now. It's like something that's been an emphasis, and all the coaches like tell me, like when we're playing pick on myself, is like you got to be ready to shoot more. Like you got to shoot more, and like that's what my teammates say. It's like if that's a feedback I'm getting, then like it's a really positive and cool thing.
Is that window tighter though for shots? Like, do you have to retrain yourself into what's an open shot because everything's so quick?
Yeah, but like, and how to work for your shots, and like, different level of athleticism. Understanding how to use what I've got as an advantage, or if I'm playing small ball if I'm like playing that bigger wing role, shooting wing or whatever, how to adjust to different scenarios there. But and that's like one of the things I've been working on with Mike throughout the year is the shooting. And I feel like the G League's been a great place for me to be able to like work on my game and do it in game situations, because obviously I'm not getting that at the NBA at that level. So I feel like I've taken great strides in that area in my game especially, but just overall.
Professor Andre Miller, what's he like as a coach? And first of all, do you know his game?
Yeah, I know his game. He put up 50 without shooting a three. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's right.
I told you.
Like I've always known of Dre, and like being coached by him is insanely cool. I won't lie. And like even like being teammates with Norris, I'm like,
right, that's
Norris
right.
Cole,
Yeah,
Norris Cole. Yeah.
It's just it's like what are these experiences? Like this is like it's just insane.
Just that's this right now for me.
Come on. Don't do that. Don't do that to me, man. I'm just a regular dude, man. but no, like super cool. And for him, like he's a new coach, like he's new to it. And so like seeing him just progress and like sort of like with our team as the season went on. And like for me, it's an interesting situation as a two-way because I'm going back and forth and I sort of, you know, I got a pretty good deal. You know, I go there and I'm playing 30 minutes no matter what.
Right.
I get to work on my game and get shots and have really good opportunities. So like it was always a really good positive experience for me, and like learning from him, his obviously experience as a player is absurd. And like him along with the rest of the coaching staff and everything like that. And again, like sort of as a continuation from the Nuggets, like really good people there, like really good culture, like great owner, great coaches, great people. Like it just made that like a really enjoyable part of the year, and the two-way process was being there and playing. And even though like we didn't have the success in the win-loss column that we would have hoped for, I still feel like, you know, everyone got a lot out of the season, and you know we had a really good time just hooping. But yeah, Dre's coach taught me a lot, like put me in different situations. Like I was playing anywhere from like 3 to the 5, like playing the 5 a lot and like being in like pick and rolls. And it's like interesting. There's like good challenges for me to like just put myself in different situations in the games and work out how to help us out.
What's the G League like for people that might not know a lot about it? Like how different is it from the NBA? I mean, you're not flying charter, I'm guessing. Like,
yeah.
What's it like when you go back to Grand Rapids? What might people not know about it?
I mean, like obviously just the resources you have at hand, it just makes it's just not the same level as professionalism, or just because of the resources and, you know, everything that we have access to here with the Nuggets and as NBA players. But the style of play, like super quick style of play, I like it because like you got to respect everybody. Like everyone's sort of playing for something. There's, you know, these guys, no one's ever really content on being a G League player, right? Like you're trying to take your game to the next level, and I feel like that gives it that level of like competition and sort of I don't know, like the vibe you're looking for when you're going out there to compete. But for me, like, you know, coming from a background in like heavy international style of play and like coming from Australia, like the style of play of the G League itself is like super fast, super up and down. Like leads can be taken away in minutes with, you know, what some of these guys can do. And like, yeah, it's just a super like roller coaster type league. And like it's never going to be perfect as the NBA isn't, but like I certainly had a great time playing there and just playing. Like just, man, I get to play basketball for a living. Like, come on, man. Like,
what about working with Peyton Watson? I mean, you guys both, I mean, some together, I think some separate, but
yeah.
What can you tell us about him and how have you gotten to know him this year?
I love P-Watt. I mean, me and him we spent a lot of time together in the summer. Obviously going back and forth with the gold as well. We spent a lot of time together and familiar with each other's game, and like we're similar positions as well. So when we're playing pickup here, like we'll match up and play with and against each other. So like I've spent a lot of time with him throughout the year. I love him. Super young, man, so talented. I love his game. Obviously, it's been great to see him get opportunities with the Nuggets and showcase like his activity, like his shot blocking ability, just his like athleticism and his range.
He blocks him from weird angles. I feel like he always sneaks blocks.
Yeah, he's like good at like avoiding contact for his blocks. He's like obviously a super dynamic athlete and super long and rangy and stuff. But like I don't know, like good handle, can get you in the mid range.
Yeah,
working on his 3-point shot a lot. His finishing and stuff's been really good, and his progression like throughout the year has been great, and like improvements with his body, getting stronger. Yeah, he's ticking all the boxes and moving in the right direction.
So with regards to P-Watt, that was a nickname that we were introduced to in Summer League. We weren't expecting it.
I'm getting used to it now. It doesn't sound
P-Watt.
quite as weird.
No,
as
I mean, but we thought it was hilarious
at
at first, but now we're like totally acclimated to it.
I'm acclimated.
Do you have a nickname that you prefer that people, the Seven Nation Army? Great White.
I'm sure he's never heard that one.
I'm wondering. I'm curious. Like
Great White?
The Great White.
I like it. The Australian connection.
I'm just throwing something out there. I mean, are there nicknames out there?
Something that we can do on this show is get a nickname going. Like that we can do that for anybody.
Yeah. Like, I mean, for example, I'm D-Line. That's not my name.
No, I haven't really like caught like a a stray nickname or anything. I mean, in Australia, like all I'd be pretty much called would be Whitey, like my last name. Like,
Well, we might skip over that one.
yeah, like which is like, and like I get that. Like,
Wow.
yeah, but like in Australia, like obviously Australia's culture with that, so like it's
Right.
probably
Of
a bit
course.
more
Of
relaxed.
course.
But yeah, like I was always that, but no, it's just Jack.
All right, we'll continue.
Just
to-
Jack.
People like
That's it.
continue
Just
to
Jack.
at
workshop it.
like a weird rate would like say my full name, like call me Jack White
Jack
when there's like no other Jacks around either.
That's true. That is
It's
a
because
weird
it's a
one.
two-syllable name, I think.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
two-syllable
Yeah.
names, you do that.
Just easy to get by.
Gary
but-
Harris, Jack White.
Yeah.
You're right.
Gary is two-syllable. Yeah.
That's a great
Harris
player.
as
Close,
well.
close enough.
Tough one for you. Tough luck there on syllables.
Good try. But
I don't
Do this
know.
every time, yeah.
But
Oh
no,
man, that
me-
didn't go well for me.
The boys will throw around some good Aussie slang, like to address me. I'll leave it at that.
I bet it starts with the C. I would
Yes,
guess.
chief, bobber, etc. Yeah.
What about the Nugget I think I know the least about is Colin Gillespie. Obviously, he hasn't been made available because he's in this like redshirt year. But what can you tell us about him?
Man, he's looking good now.
Is he?
I'll tell you that. Yeah, like he's able to play fives. Like we've been playing pickup sort of just recently too. So I think his first game of fives was a week and a half ago, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Like less than 2 weeks ago. And I mean, if I didn't know him and I walked in the gym and I was just watching this play, I'd be like, you wouldn't be able to pick it. Like he's done a great job with his rehab, and obviously we got great medical staff, support staff, training staff that have helped him with that. And a lot of the credit obviously goes to him. He's put a lot of work in, and like it's such a obviously unfortunate situation with what's happened to him. And you know, I didn't know him too well before because I'm a bit older, but like I knew he had like an injury in college, like a knee, and obviously now this one straight after summer league, and he had a great summer league. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it's awesome to see him back on the court and like doing his thing. Great teammate. I mean, I'm sure you can see that with just how he's received on socials, and you know what you guys would see in person with his interactions within the team. But great player, super smart player, which probably isn't a surprise to anyone. Villanova point guard
Right.
and everything like that. But no, like we live together in the same building. Like we hang out a lot. Great kid. Great dude. Great at golf.
Really?
Yeah, big time golfer. But yeah, just like a great dude that you'd love to have as a teammate.
Maybe
Great
we can
player.
sell him on the liquor stick.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can we get one for you, Colin? Here, every great golfer needs one in the bag. To kind of wrap this up, map out the next year for you. What are you hoping for? Have there been any discussions, or is it more like, hey, after the year, we're gonna sit here and talk about? I mean, what do you hope happens with you beyond this season?
I mean, I hope I can sign a full contract here. Like I love it here in Denver. I feel like that's apparent from how I've spoken about everything with the culture, the
Right.
teammates,
Yeah.
and obviously the situation we're in right now is unbelievable with the opportunity to compete for championships, which isn't something to take for granted.
Have you heard, by the way, bro, just real quick, from other friends in the league? They're like, bro, it sucks here, man. This is terrible. Have you heard horror stories?
Like yes and no. Like even just like there are a bunch of Aussies around and stuff, and like I've just known from sort of just general perception of how things go that
Yeah.
there's a lot of money thrown around, a lot of teams, like guys have egos, it's just naturally not going to be ideal. Or for me, like coming from Australia, like there's a big emphasis on culture and having that within a sporting group. So I've always been super fortunate with sorts of teams and environments I've been surrounded in, and like I'm definitely feeling the same amount of luckiness or whatever being around this group, because it's definitely super special. But yeah, I mean, I haven't been putting too much thought into it. Like my agent will cover that sort of stuff when push comes to shove and when you got to cross that bridge. But just trying to take care of the day to day and enjoy the experience. Keep getting better. I'm super excited about the opportunity to compete for Australia at the World Cup this year. So yeah, I'm just working out, trying to get ready for camp, staying healthy, enjoying the playoffs.
If you get matched up, Australia, Serbia, semifinals, is it like, all right,
Are
coach,
you like, dude,
Yeah,
don't
hold
take
on.
me into the post because I'll steal that shit again.
you remember training camp Joker? You remember that? I'm in your head.
For that game, I'm going to learn a bit more like Serbian
Yeah.
words that I can
Go to those
can get in
dark
their ear
square
a bit.
places.
We
Yeah.
love the World Cup, man. We got so into it with Eurobasket, last year.
Man,
and
I was
obviously
loving
being out there.
Eurobasket last year.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I kind of feel like last year might have been a turning point, a watershed year where it was so good. There was good storylines. I wonder if it'll get a little more American, people
Yeah,
pay
I
attention.
Well, I feel like the World Cup and even just international hoops, like basketball around the world, is just growing and growing. And I feel like the gap between other countries in the US is closing. And at these tournaments, like you really get to, it's a great opportunity to see like different players and
Yeah.
excuse me, like Patty Mills, for example, like hasn't had quite the year we've seen from him in the past with Brooklyn, but you put him in the green and gold, oh boy, like he is unstoppable. It's
FIBA
like
Patty Mills.
it's like Lowry Markkinen last year, like
Sure.
That's
had
right,
a hell
that's
of a
true. That's a
tournament
good one.
leading into this season. You see what he's done, and I mean there's so much talent around the world. I feel like these tournaments obviously do a great job of showcasing that, and our Australia squad, like we're at a really good point. Like we medaled for the first time at the Olympics in the men's competition. Like our women are unreal. Like it's just there's a lot of talent around the world, and it's a great place to.
There's
It's a
some
great
chatter
tournament to see.
Ben Simmons might play for Australia.
Yeah, man. I hope for his sake and
You guys might
like
have a squad.
and everything that's going on around him that he can get healthy and get to a place where he was before with the level of play. Just as a basketball fan, as someone who could potentially be his teammate, like
He's
I'd love
so
to see him get up.
talented.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been lost the last couple of years, but he's a unique talent. Lastly, just before we get out of here, just gonna ask you a question about Denver. I mean, what's been your impression living here of the city? You said you'd never been till you come out here.
Yeah, no, altitude's no joke. I think
Still?
dude. I think I got PTSD from like workouts at Red Rocks in the preseason,
God.
like running those stairs, man. I'd never experienced anything like that in terms of like gasping for air, and there's nothing. It feels like there's no air. So I'm intimidated to head back there, but like I love the city. It's like for me, like obviously you have everything that you'd want from like a city, but it's not too full on. Like for me, being a country boy, like I definitely enjoy like having a park across from where I live. Like I'm just a walk away from the arena. Like everything's super accessible, but like spread out to the point where it's not like you don't feel like everything's on top of you. And obviously just Colorado in general, having the mountains there and everything you can do outdoors. It's just
Do you do outdoor stuff?
during the season. I mean, it's tough
also
to
freezing in the mountains.
But yeah, like we can't go out and like ski or snowboard or do anything like that. So if I was going to do anything, it would just be a hike. And I mean, the old pins could probably use a rest now and then. So
no fishing though, or
no, I need to
horseback riding or something.
Hey, it's
If
only
you
a
want
matter
to get
of
in
time.
good graces,
I mean, I'm not like super into golf, but like it's only a matter of time. I feel like
it might be.
Maybe
I
it's
don't-
gonna
I
change your
key,
mind.
I think it'd be concerning if that was the thing that would like get me over the edge to like start playing golf. Like,
No judgment here.
I don't know about that, man. All the judgment would come from out there. But yeah, I mean, like there's so many good things to do. Like I've done a hike out at Boulder, which was beautiful.
Shout out.
But yeah, there's so much for me left to explore here, and it's a great place.
And then I would be remiss if I didn't bring this one up, but I think one of your first minutes in the NBA, you took a poster. I believe. Then you get back in and you get the big time block.
Yes.
And then I think win the defensive player of the game chain that game.
Oh, the
Is
last
this
game.
the last game of the year? Big
Oh yeah, the last. Did I get a block that last game?
at the rim. I thought you were going to get dunked on, and just like 99 out of 100 NBA players do not attempt to block a shot in that moment. And
I don't know, dude.
you-
I feel like I can block. If someone's trying to dunk on me, like I feel like I can get every one. Yeah, I got no fear.
Really?
And if I do get dunked on, I couldn't care less. To be honest.
That's
I
the
love
thing,
that.
man.
Was
like
getting
Zeke dunked on me the other day when we were playing fives, and like I was like happy that Zeke dunked on me. I was like,
great
nice
job.
one, bro.
Great done.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, send me a copy of that poster.
Was getting the defensive player of the game chain best moment of the season?
Yeah, I think
Individual
so.
moment?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, like first points are special and stuff.
Right.
Like I still got the ball for that. But yeah, like that moment, like I guess getting a bit more of an extended run in the game, like playing 15 minutes and
Yeah. That was the
Being
last
able
game
to-
against Sacramento, too.
yeah, like being able to get my wind about me a bit, even though, man, like sitting down for 2 hours and then like going 0 to 100 takes it out of you.
I bet.
I must admit. But But man, I had so much fun, and like obviously in a win. Again, similar to Summer League, I felt like every rebound was just sort of bouncing my way. Good to get a bucket and good to finish with a win. So, yeah, that was definitely probably top of my list.
Man, I didn't feel that way. I felt Summer League. You were just everywhere.
Yeah, I was like, man,
all those
that's
times coming to you,
Dennis
you're
Rodman.
flying through the air to grab the
Yeah.
rebound everywhere.
I mean, truly.
So modest. Listen to
I
modest
know.
Jack over
Well, because
here.
again, like we didn't know what the draft picks were looking for. You know, the Adonis Arms is flashing a little bit, but then like,
A little
He has a
bit.
great name.
but by the end we were like, they have to
Elite
sign
name.
Jack. They have to sign Jack White to the two-way.
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
to, and
yeah.
I'm so glad it happened.
I'm not saying it was
appreciate
us
that.
that
Yeah.
influenced, but we were pretty loud about it.
Thank you.
So I don't
We
know.
put out those
we were
report
in the
cards. I
Jack
told
White
you that.
camp.
After this,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back home and like I'm going to watch what you guys
Oh
say.
god. Oh
We'll
god.
see.
Scrub the internet. Jack, it's been great getting to know you, man. Really appreciate you
Got
coming
a
in,
bunch of
spending some
super
time
chats.
with the
Thank
fan.
you, guys.
Oh, we have super chats for Jack. Let's run through them. This is where people
Ah.
pay us to ask you a question.
Are you guys on Twitch?
No,
What do you got?
we're only
This
on
is
YouTube.
YouTube, sick.
Good morning from Australia.
Got 1,000
Go
people
get
watching
that
on YouTube.
championship. Congrats on the selection in the Aussie Squad World Cup. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Finish it,
Yeah,
Jack.
Aussie. Cheers.
you
Appreciate that.
All did
Good
the
morning.
Aussies are in full throw.
Oh,
here.
Josh Barnett is here.
Josh
Another
is
Aussie.
is an Aussie
Can we
day
get a
one.
Jack White burger at the DNVR bar? What do you think, man? Is it time for the
Oh.
Jack White burger?
Yeah, beetroot,
does he know
pineapple,
does he know the
egg, yeah.
history of this?
Yeah, we had a Bones burger. So
Yeah,
it
so
might be
I
a
did hear
curse.
about that. Yeah,
It might be a curse.
yeah. Don't curse me, please.
What does he say here?
Beetroot?
Beetroot? Pineapple?
Beetroot, pineapple. Yeah. If you're gonna go to like classic Aussie, you go get fish and chips from like a fish and chip
Yeah.
store, right? And you get a burger with a lot. You're getting like fried egg, beetroot, pineapple, lettuce, tomato, the whole works.
None of I don't
Okay.
even know what beetroot
Caramelized
is, but
onion?
it sounds terrible.
Wow.
It'll stain your clothes.
That's
It's like
Everybody-
mean.
Everybody says you guys have to try
Vegemite.
Vegemite.
I brought some into the facility, and some people like it. But
Really? Some people liked it?
Yeah, well, I'm just not flipping out and just giving it to them on their finger, like
Right,
just
right, right.
straight veg. Like I don't want that. Like,
Really?
it's terrible. But like, if you're gonna have it, like nice little piece of white bread, toast it up,
It's
a good amount of butter, and a light spread of Vegemite. It's the best way to have
That
it.
sounds like you like.
So that's what I've been trying to do for people when I've introduced it.
It does sound like beans and toast when you're like, hold on, it's what? That doesn't sound good at all. Joseph says it's no coincidence that a boy from a gold rush town came to end up playing for the Grand Rapids Gold and the Nuggets. On ya, mate.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say the end part. On you, mate.
On-
On you, mate.
On ya,
Good on
mate.
ya.
Good on ya.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, my Australian is offensive.
No, it's it's so bad.
Benny says, get around all the Aussies. Good on you, mate. And thanks for the coverage, DNVR from Australia.
I'm
I
telling
think-
you, man, we have a
I think you should have
weirdly
Jack-
proportionate.
yeah, actually, you know what? What am I doing here? Why am I
number of,
reading these? Let's get Jack involved.
No, this
Super
one's
chat,
good.
$10 from Addicted Lawyer. Testing.
Yeah, good job.
Good job.
Good
Somebody
job.
paid us $10 to
Yeah.
say that. I don't know
Cheers.
what it is.
James Jimmy. Jack White sounds vaguely like Elon Musk.
2 different continents, 2 different countries.
Wow.
Don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Thanks.
don't either.
Thanks, I guess. What have we got? Toke Rasmussen, you guys are great, and so are the Nuggets.
See, now they're for us.
LFG.
Yeah, no, yeah,
You
we
went
went
through
through
all the
we
Aussies.
blew through
Cheers.
all the Aussie ones.
Hold on.
This has got to be an Aussie one.
Nuggets 2023 preseason exhibition game versus OKC at John Cain Arena in Melbourne. Who says no? Great to have Jack in Denver from a fellow Melburnian.
Let's
John
go.
Cain Arena is the home court for Melbourne United.
Okay.
Like obviously Josh is from Melbourne as well, but we'd rinse OKC for sure. Run of a bar. Yeah.
I love it. A little Australian shit talk. All right. See, you are good at shit talk. It was subtle. It
No.
took an hour to bring it out of you. But here it
Well,
is.
I would say I'm good at like talking shit, but in terms of like trash talk,
So
I'm not trying to like be like too confrontational, you know, but like good banter, good, you know, smack,
Yeah.
like just a bit of smack
Yeah.
talk here and there.
We're
I can participate for sure.
Hopefully one day you'll get into it with Matt Ishbia. That sounds like the thing to do. Everybody, thanks for spending an hour with us and Jack White. Everybody, throw a like for this stream so everybody gets to see it. We'll see you guys. Guess what? We get a weekend off, you guys. Holy shit.
Man, we deserve this.
We definitely deserve it.
We've
You
been putting in the
got
hours.
to work, man.
Yeah, I am still a work in progress, boys. Don't worry about it.
There you go. Everybody hit that like button on the way out.